In this video, we're going to cover the most important words and phrases that are going to save you tons of marks in PTE Core Writing and PTE Core Speaking. Now, if you want access to HZAD Education's exam-like challenging PTE Core mock tests, comment down below PTE Core and we'll give you free mock tests and a free assessment. It is completely without any strings attached. Comment down PTE Core. Now, let's get started with our lesson today. This is going to be on writing, 5 words and phrases for writing, followed by 5 words and phrases for speaking. In writing, the most important thing is the email, the letter. This is where most of your marks will be managed. Now, if you have a higher weight, you got to pay more attention to this task, which is your email or letter. And the one thing that you would say in the intro, like many students, is, I'm writing this letter because. Don't say that. Everybody's going to say that. You need to stand out. You need to have advanced usage of vocabulary. And what you can do instead is just use the synonym. Use the purpose of my writing is, or the purpose of my writing today is, and then state the purpose. That's all you got to do in the intro. It's just one sentence, not more, not less. Later on in the body paragraphs, you explain things in more detail, but these are the wordings you want to use for the AI to understand that you are writing a formal letter, and the AI is going to mark you if you are giving the purpose correctly or not in the first paragraph. The next thing you want to do is use the words given that. Now, this is very useful in writing because when you explain a certain thing, then you want to add more detail to it. You can say, given that something something, comma, something something else. An example here is, let's say you're complaining to your landlord. You have said that there are bed bugs in the apartment. Now the next sentence is going to be, given that we have the situation, I request a refund for the rent paid. When you do this, you are not only relating the 2 points, but also making a complex sentence. So you get 2 marks. One is for coherence and structure because you're relating everything and giving a good flow. The other mark is for the use of a range. You have simple sentences and complex sentences, and that is needed for good marks in PTE Core writing. The next thing you want to follow is using the word overall. A lot of times I see people confused in the last paragraph when they're doing the conclusion. Should we use to conclude? Should we say therefore or hence? Well, use overall. One reason for this is it really nicely wraps up everything you're trying to say. The second reason is not everybody's doing it. You want to stand out, you want to use unique words and phrases, and overall does a great job at being the ending phrase, being a good start to your conclusion, and being unique. So use this word and it will wrap up everything you're trying to say. It's a good concluding word. Avoid words which are generic, like to conclude or therefore. That is for the last paragraph. Now, this is not a word or phrase. This is a semicolon. And I highly recommend you use this because it shows advanced use of punctuation, and it also saves you in your first task, which is the summary. So when you put a semicolon, you can put 2 clauses, one before and one after, and it summarizes what would have been a 2-sentence statement. For example, if you're trying to say that I am lactose intolerant, which is why I cannot drink any dairy, I think I need to update my grocery list. Now, instead of doing these 2 sentences, you could just say I'm lactose intolerant and cannot consume dairy, semicolon, I need to update my grocery list. Here, by the use of semicolon, instead of making 2 sentences, you can just make 1 sentence with the 2 clauses. It helps you in summarizing your ideas and using less words, which is crucial for a task 1 summary. And for task 2, of course, the word limit is not huge. You got to stay between 90 and 120 words, ideally 100 to 120. So if you use semicolons, it summarizes a lot of the stuff, saves you time, and gives you marks for advanced use of punctuation. Now, you want to use the word while as well. Again, this helps you in task 1 and task 2. In task 2, it gives you marks for your complex sentence use. Because when you say while, you're using 2 points while something something, comma, something something else. So you're making a complex sentence, and you can put 2 points in a long sentence that way. In task 1, it helps when you use while, and you can combine 2 sentences into 1. So when you say while, it would be a sentence like, while the company is trying to include new robotics into the current system, comma, it's most likely not going to work. So that is much better instead of you making another sentence and saying, however, this is not going to work. If you use while at the start, you can just combine them, and that saves you a lot of words. So make sure to use them in task 1 and task 2. It'll save you words and give you marks for being complex. Now when we come to speaking, again, there's while. So I've explained the use of while something something, comma something something else. That's how you put the two clauses. Now in speaking, instead of putting that comma, you're going to use the pause. Why we need words like these in speaking is, of course, for number one, you want to use a range of complex and simple sentences. Using sentences with while makes complex sentences. Number two, you have two speaking questions, the responding to a situation and the image question. Both of them are just 40 seconds and you have to say a lot of things there. So if you use while, you can again say two sentences or two clauses in one sentence, I should say, which will help you say everything in the exact amount of time that is designated. Now, the next thing you want to do in PTE Core speaking is using words like I understand that. Very useful. Where? In the respond to a situation question. In this question, you're always in a hard situation. You are being told to apologize to someone. You're being told you cannot meet a deadline. You would always need to use words that communicate empathy and that are appropriate to the situation. Most of the situations, I would say 85% of the times, you would have to say words like I understand that. So for example, a situation is you broke your landlord's lawnmower. So now you have to apologize. There is for sure going to be a place where you would have to acknowledge what you have done, whether it's at the start of your speaking, in the middle, or at the end, wherever you want to use it. Start with words like, I understand that you're very upset, or you will be very upset because I destroyed your lawnmower. However, it was unintentional. I can assure you I can find a replacement, and so on and so on. But by using words like I understand that, you are again acknowledging what has happened. You are being tone appropriate, and you would kind of rephrase the question, which will show the AI that you have appropriate task response because you're addressing what has been asked. Next thing is in the ending. When you are again in that respond to a situation question, there are some prompts you need to remember. In the conclusion, we see a lot of people just missing the conclusion because it is so fast. In 40 seconds, you got to finish everything. So have some prompts prepared. Let me know, do you agree? Will that be all right, or would that be all right? Now, it depends on the scenario. If you are asking for information, then let me know is a good one. If it's about agreement, you're asking something, you're negotiating, do you agree? And if you are proposing something, at the end you can finish off with, would that be all right? Okay? These three prompts will fit 90% of the scenarios, and just memorize them because at the end, when you have less time, you should have these prompts in your head ready to go as soon as the time is about to finish. The next thing is hence. Once again, in PTE Core speaking, you got 40 seconds in the image question and in the respond to a situation question. Not enough. Hence, this is what I'm doing right here. I'm just doing it naturally because I'm used to it. But I was going to say, hence, you have to find concluding words which are not too long and you don't have to think about them when you're speaking. This should be in your back pocket. Now, if we say, due to all of that, due to the aforementioned reasons, they're too complex, and you can use them if you're confident you can finish on time. Most likely people struggle, and most likely you will struggle in finishing on time. So use a word like hence, keep it in your back pocket. As soon as your time is about to run out, you're about to conclude, use words like hence, and this is something you would need to use in the picture question when you're summing up the overall idea. This is the only one syllable concluding word you have. Everything else is therefore, thereby. Every syllable costs seconds, and we see people missing answers by a second or half a second, and that makes you lose marks. So, very good concluding word. Finally, it seems. Make sure to keep a mixture of active and passive voice sentences in PTE Core speaking. A major mistake is people just saying, I can see that, or I can tell that, or I have noticed. And this is all happening, let's say, in the picture question or in the respond to a situation question. What you're doing is you're simply using a lot of I's. And you're overusing I, you're overusing active voice sentences, and you are not using a good range, a good combination. So use passive voice, and instead of saying, I can see on the left-hand side on this picture, you can say, it seems that on the left-hand side we have whatever. That becomes passive. You get rid of the I, get rid of the repetition, and you add a range of sentences and expressions. Now, if you want to guarantee your results in the PTE Core writing and speaking, as well as other modules. Check out our guaranteed PTE Core 15-hour course with mock tests reflecting the exam's difficulty level. It comes with a lot of resources and a free assessment as well. It's included in the description. It's included in the shop link down below. This course guarantees you your marks. If you fail, we refund you all your money. That's how confident we are. So if you're serious about your CLB scores, check out the course down below and you'll get instant access for a lifetime. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll talk soon.